Hello, I'm Shireen Hashim, the CEO and founder of the award-winning Fashion Community Week in San Francisco. Our platform offers support and opportunities for global emerging fashion designers and brands. We have so far represented brands from 40 countries covering 6 continents. Today, you are viewing Fashion Community Speak, where we invite global industry experts and fashion designers to share their experience, advice, and analysis on industry affairs. Our guest today is Adebayo Agbelekale, founder and designer of the award-winning brand Adebayo, a custom clothier and a couturier focusing on men's and women's wear. A collection not only consists of beautiful designs, but are true wearable pieces of art. Adebayo was born in Osogbo, Nigeria, to the 9th generation of a traditional weaving family and learned his trade at an early stage from generations of artisans, such as learning to weave, fabric dyeing, sewing, beading, and embroidery from his parents, who created traditional attires for the Nigerian royal families. Adebayo has also specialized in batik dyeing, kilt making, reverse applique. He applies these techniques to create Western wear with traditional African flair. In 1995, he entered the USA market with his beautiful costume design collections for stage performances that were exhibited all over the United States. Since then, Adebayo collection has dressed performers and celebrities and has been a real showstopper on several runway shows, including our own Fashion Community Week fall edition shows of 2016, 2018, and 2019. Join me to welcome Adebayo Agbelekale of Adebayo, who feels making garments must hold a piece of your soul, not just the clothes. Hello, Mr. Bayo. We feel prestiged to have you with us today. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was just such a great honor.
Thank you. So now I want to get started, and my first question to ask you is, coming from the 9th generation of a traditional weaving family, what inspired you to continue, expand, and bring your beautiful cultural creations to the Western world? And perhaps you can even walk us through the process of the beautiful masterpieces that you create.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I think coming from a long line of clothing textile artists, it has a lot of impact on me to keep going on with what I do. And also coming from Nigeria, you know, when we were growing up, our parents always telling us about we come for we are the child come from a triple heritage. Like we have our own cultural, the traditional, Yoruba culture. Then going to school, we learn about Western culture. Then the Arabic culture. So growing up with that, we combine all of those three triple heritage. So that have effect on my designing of, okay, this is what I learned from my family, and this is what keep me going on. And then from coming from that long line is very good knowledge for me to be able to.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, I want to ask you a little bit about the process. I know that once, when you were showcasing your beautiful collection at our Fashion Community Week runway show, briefly I was asking you about the process, and you have mentioned to me that your brother creates the fabric, and then your sister does the embroidery, and then this is all done in Nigeria, and then they send it over to your atelier in Santa Cruz, and then you build the collection. Is that right?
That's right.
Wow.
Most of my fabric that I use a lot of other fabrics also all around the world, but most of my basis of my work has a lot to do with my family. My brothers do a lot of weaving. My sister do a lot of dyeing fabric. Then I have other brothers do a lot of embroidery.
Wow.
So that is what the backbone of me to work with the collectiveness of my brothers and sisters to help me, moving on. that is what really inspire me all the time when I'm working with them.
It's amazing that how this is such a collective work and collaboration, and of course, looking at each pieces, I can see your heart and soul placed into it, and it is almost impossible to believe how that's even done, and it's done so beautifully, so beautifully. Now, your clothing line stretches from past generations to modern creations. Now, do you see fashion being a cultural symbol of of the Nigerian culture?
Yes, fashion is very powerful. To wear it's so symbolic because it's your thought, what I have in mind, or whatever the history, you can combine that one into the textile to be able to have that the very symbolic. Like if I look in my early age, like my mom, they do not have a Western education, but all of their textile is a history. All the pattern it tell a lot of story that even for us we may not know, but we will just see a symbol and they'll be able to tell that story about it. That's how people pass on, putting the historical pattern into the textile. It's a statement. When we had all those together, I can just have a symbol of something or a picture of something on the back of my I wear as a fashion.
Right.
But anyone who says it's more than that, but that pattern is telling us about something. It's a statement.
Absolutely. I think it's a cultural communication. You have you have showcased your collection with many other international designers who were on our runway show, and it is so distinctive that you can see from collection to collection a bit of their culture representing and their country represented into the pieces. And I know that. All of Africa, the fashion industry is booming, and specifically Nigeria. I know that according to the Euromonitor, it is suggested that the sub-Saharan fashion market is worth 31 billion, with Nigeria accounting for 15%, which is about 4.7 billion of that. And of course, it is fascinating to also learn that Nigeria currently hosts about half a dozen Fashion Week events annually. Do you think the demand for Nigerian fashion in the consumer market will continue to rise?
Yes, I believe so. No doubt about that. It will continue to rise because, especially the younger one these days who are designer, they are so also as talented as their parent, because they combine a whole lot of other, the whole lot of cultural itself in Africa or all around the world. As I mentioned, that where you come with your triple heritage, you have those combination and that woven into the fashion, and it will resonate to anywhere. You can wear it. So, oh yeah, I can wear that. Yeah, I can wear that. That is what's going to make Nigeria is one of the a unique place for the fashion, and that is still growing.
Oh, I'm totally with you with that. We had worked with other Nigerian fashion designers, but everything is so distinctive. And I must tell you, one of my favorite collection that you had showcased at Fashion Community Week was called Gorchani, and it was about everything gold. And I remember it was such a beautiful collection. Each and every piece was just such a masterpiece, and it was really a wearable art. As soon as the collection went on the runway, everybody was at awe, and they were like, wow, what is this collection made of? It's just so gorgeous. So you can definitely see the intricacy of you are a very good example, just looking at your collection alone, just to see, wow, the designers, especially coming from Nigeria, are really pulling in a lot of their culture into the design. So it's very, very impressive to see that. Now, right now we're living this pandemic, and due to this current pandemic, there are some fashion houses that are taking drastic measures. So just this week, we were reading about Christian Dior going back to the basics of when couture houses promoted their creations in a traveling show of doll-sized samples due to the strict rationing of fabric post-World War II. Of course, we're not experiencing a war, but of course we're experiencing big changes during to the pandemic currently. So with that said, what are some of the steps your design house is taking to revive this current pandemic?
Well, the pandemic itself is kind of it's a tragedy, but at the same time, you can find a peace, out of the tragedy and start. For me, what it makes me do is just do more. Just go back in my studio, go back where I call my studio my sanctuary. That's where you can have a think. That's where you can think. Okay, now you close this door. Okay, what can I do now? So this pandemic, because everybody is got for lockdown. Thank goodness I have a home to stay. All I have to do is just get in my studio, because to have a focused mind, to be able to think. Okay, now in this pandemic, what can I do? What kind of changes do I need to make? For me, it helped me also to create and to do. Every time when I finish my some of my picture, my new creative creation, sometimes we do it like an indoor photographer.
Mhm.
Now in this pandemic, everything we're gonna do it outdoor, because and also to limit how many people.
Right.
It's that kind of it's hard, to have to limit how many people that we need to, you need to put in the same place together. But in this pandemic, it helps me to create, to rethink, more. Okay, what can I do in this time around? That to go and also and especially when something like this is very so symbolic. When I'm creating right now in this pandemic, I want to create something that make me maybe in 20 years to this time, when I see that piece, I will know when that piece was created.
Wow.
That's very symbolic.
Very
Okay,
symbolic.
this is what I created during the pandemic, because it has a lot of the explanation into it. It has a lot of design into it for my memory. Okay, this is when this is created. This was created during the pandemic, because the design on it, the cut on it, and everything, it explaining something of reminding it. That's what this during this pandemic. That's what of my we think of.
Wow,
So,
that's so great. Yeah, I hope that in about 20 years I will get to see those pieces. But of course, I hope that I don't have to wait that long. Are you? So with that said, are you creating a current collection for the fall winter?
yes, I am creating for collection. Actually, we are getting ready to do the outdoor for the photo shoot this Saturday, which
Nice.
I'm excited about. And I'm just in my studio right now, just like, oh, I gotta finish this one. I can't, so
It's
I
a
am. Yes, I
work.
am.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
also looking forward to it. I'm so excited. And yeah, something's coming.
Wow. Okay. I can't wait. Okay. We'll have to talk offline more about this, by the way. Well, this brings me to my very final question for you today. You know, you are truly an inspiration for many fashion designers. And I know that some of the young designers who has seen your collection had asked me, oh my gosh, how do I get in touch with this designer? So much gift you can give them. Now today perhaps you have advice for some of these young designers that they can walk away with, and something that they can learn from you today, an advice, either a general advice or suitable to the pandemic, anything that you'd like to share.
Well, I would say first of all, never give up. Never give up. Whatever you're doing, even if you make a mistake, that's part of it. Homo sapien, that's who we are. We make a mistake, then we will think, okay, how can I turn this mistake into something? Never give up. Never get tired of what you're doing, and never be afraid to ask for questions. Especially in this time around, you can do a lot of research on internet.
Yeah.
But do not let, if you make something that wasn't right, do not let that bring you down. Everyone, we all, even the one who's richer, everybody make mistake. That's part of who we are.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
don't hesitate to ask for knowledge, and everywhere you can see. Don't hesitate to, even for me as I am. Anytime I go to the clothing store, I want to see how things is done. how things is finished. That's how the knowledge, you collect, the collectiveness,
Right.
how you can collect from everywhere. And don't, just for me, just never give up. Just keep doing what you're doing. And at this time of pandemic, the only thing that it will help a lot of people this time to be creative.
Absolutely.
When we get locked down, what can we do? That's the time we need to create. Then go back and try something new, something you've never think you're gonna be able to do before. Bring your pen, or if you want to write a poem, anything. So just to write, to do something just for fun. So never give up. Never give up. And encourage yourself and have an open mind to just learn a new thing. Everywhere you go, just be curious. The curiosity. Go into the forest. Sometimes I get a lot of inspiration. Take a walk to the forest. Just look how beautiful this planet is. Just get the idea to get inspiration and from it, and look at a lot of fashion magazine, all of this kind of thing. We're collecting from it. We energize our brain. So
Right.
that's my point. Just keep doing whatever you can do. That's nothing. Don't worry about your mistake. That's part of it. We make a mistake, then we keep going on. Just
Thank you. I believe there is beauty everywhere around us, and we just have to open our eyes and take them all in, right?
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Bayo, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was so lovely having you on our interview series today. And thank you for sharing all of these very important information and sharing about your family. It's just lovely to learn about it all. Now, I'd like to thank our audience for tuning in and watching our Fashion Community Speak interview series today. If you'd like to learn more about Adebayo collection, join us at his atelier in Santa Cruz to not only shop the beautiful collection, but also attend workshops offered on batik and reverse applique given by the designer himself. You can also visit ibbio.com to review the collections, of course, as well as shop the collection. Tune in every week, same time, on our Fashion Community Week IGTV to watch live interviews with fashion industry experts. All interviews are also available on our platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We look forward to seeing you all next week. And thank you so much again for being with us and joining us on this interview series. And I hope to see you soon, Mr. Bayo. Thank you.
Thank you so much too for you and the entire San Francisco Community Fashion Week. Thank you so much for shedding the light on us and giving us opportunity to tell our story. Thank you so much for your professional way that you run your show. I'm always impressed for your hard work that you have done. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. That truly touched my heart and made my day. Thank you. Well, have a nice day. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.